Dush. And the Mustangs are at regional championship point. What an outstanding set by Juliana Dush. And she serves. And it's in! And the Merritt Island Mustangs are regional champs. They're regional champs. Set. Blocked. And for the 17th time in the past 20 years, the Merritt Island Mustangs are Cape Coast Conference champions. Congratulations to Coach Angie Patrick and her Mustang.
Good evening, everybody. Alan Slaughter-Zinski for the Brevard Sports Network. Welcome back here. Obviously, summer not as busy as it is between the 1st of August and let's say the end of May, but we certainly do our best to fill time and content. And I can't think of another better person to talk to. When you look around the entire state in terms of coaches, this lady simply one of the best in any sport around, certainly the top of her profession in high school volleyball. Please help me welcome here tonight to Brevard Sports Network the head coach, the head Mustang for the Merritt Island Mustangs volleyball program, Coach Angie Patrick. Coach, how's your summer going?
It's going well. Feels like it's just starting. Time has flown so fast, but doing a lot of projects and got to get away for a couple days to scuba dive, and it's my favorite thing to do. So just doing some projects. Got beach volleyball going on with Cape Club and Open Gym. Still lots of volleyball and lots of sunshine.
Yeah, no doubt. So let me ask you this before we get started. Let's just take a look back real quick on last season. I mean, you were young, tremendously young in a lot of places last year. A lot of these ladies moving with you. Of course, obviously, every year, as a program like yours does, Coach, you lose outstanding seniors, and you certainly had your fair share of those this year. Of course, our Brevard Sports Network overall volleyball player of the year was one of them in Bella Schwantz. But as you look back on last season, how would you kind of recap it in terms of, like, how would you classify last season?
Boy, that's a little question. I think that we had a great season. It was an amazing ride. We had some phenomenal volleyball players. To some extent, they were on autopilot. You know, we had 7 seniors. We had several that were big contributors. So I wouldn't say we were young, but we did have some young talent that we are definitely going to rely on this year. But last year, you know, we did awesome, and we lost to Bishop Moore in the end, who actually won state, and wish that would have been the state title, and I wish it would have happened for the girls, but you know, it's not, the success wasn't in one game. But I'm so proud of what they accomplished, especially the seniors leaving their imprint on the program.
Coach, all right, so let's kind of go through this a little bit, because for those of you that don't know, Coach, you're going into year 22, correct?
Yeah.
20. Okay, so year 22.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I'm not going to go all the way back to, well, I don't want to say it like that, but let me ask you this. What's different about Angie Patrick going into 2025? Where are you different as a coach than you were, say, 5 or 10 years ago?
Well, I started pretty young. You know, I was 25, 26. I kind of coached a lot of, like, you were coached college right off. So I wasn't as knowledgeable, but I was passionate. What I gained, like what I had for not was my experience in college, and I had Mitch Jacobs as a coach, who was a great coach. But I was very intense, you know, and I had a daughter. And when I had her, I kind of mellowed out a little bit. And then I realized the way to get great is to rely on other great coaches. So, and to be a student of the game. So I continued to do that over the years. And I'd say I don't know, I right now, the past few years, I just really focused on enjoying the ride and being around quality kids. And the wins are great, championships are great. But at this point, like I want to look back on the years, like, I still keep in touch with some of those girls, especially 2014, 2015. They got kids, they got jobs, all the kind of things. I love that. And so for me, now, not just about the wins, it's just really about the experience that I'm having with them every year.
We'll talk about the wins and things like that. The closer we get to the season, big milestone possibly coming up this year for you, and we'll touch on that a little later on in the summer as we get closer to the preview portion of this. But I'm curious. I know you mentioned two things there, which is a great segue to where I want to go next. And that is what I admire most about a lot of the things you do are the changes you make, regardless of how good your program is from one year to the next. I see different types of coaching styles come from you in different years based on the talent you have on the floor and what their capabilities are. And I also see different coaching staffs come through Merritt Island. So would you care to share whom will be on your staff this season?
Yeah, super fortunate. Again, all my staff is returning. Other than Luke, Luke was my assistant, and he's going to be helping his sister, I believe, down at Holy Trinity. But I've got Connor and Taylor, and they are Connor Teddy and Dr. Taylor Stanley have been running the JV and freshmen, and they've just done an awesome job. And Taylor's going to move up to JV and help Connor and help varsity as well because she's got a job over at Numerous Hospital in Orlando now, so she can't commit to the head coach position. David Specian is back with us, and he's a great setting coach, and so he'll be in charge of that. And then we have Carly Brooks, who's our strength and conditioning coach. Super fortunate. I mean, if you're in this county, you probably know who she is. She's done a lot with youth and training, and she just really keeps our girls healthy and fit and strong. She's been working with them all summer. So since Taylor up to JV, that left a freshman head coaching position open, who we have recently filled that position.
And could you share with us whom you filled that position with?
Yeah, right now in public on BSN, the only people that know are my family and my coaching staff, but we are bringing on Jordan Patrick, my daughter, to be the head freshman.
I love
So
it.
very excited about that. Super special. We had definitely some long conversations about, did she want to actually do this? Because a year ago she would have said no, no way. But she's been refereeing USAV volleyball and AAU, and she's been working with a lot of 14 and 15-year-olds and a lot of coaches. And she's like, Mom, I've seen the good and the bad in coaches when I was playing and when I've been refereeing. And she said, I want to be that good. And I really enjoy that age group. I know exactly how you run the program. And she's become really passionate about it. So I'm excited for her. It's going to be a commitment. She's going to be driving from Orlando because she's at UCF. But she's excited, and I think she's going to do an awesome job.
There's no doubt in my mind she's going to do an awesome job. As you had mentioned that you were young when you became a head coach. Obviously, look, I mean, there still is the daughter mom dynamic there. And obviously, in every father son, mom daughter relationship, there's always, I can remember, my father was a big sports guy, thought he knew everything about sports, and I thought I knew more about sports. But I guess my question is as a young coach, as Jordan is, I mean, look, she was what year did she win our volleyball player of the year? Was that 2020?
21, because she graduated in
21.
22.
Okay. Yeah, so 2021. So she's in her early 20s. What's the best piece of advice that you could give her taking over a team from both a coach and a mom perspective?
First of all, you got to want to do it. love the sport, love the game, love the kids. And that was my first question to her, like, what changed your mind from a year ago to now? Because, like I said, if you would have asked her, she did not want to get into coaching. And she had, her last year playing college, she was redshirted for concussion and just went through all these tough times in college, and just realized, there's more to life than volleyball, but I can still give back. And she's playing club for UCF and refereeing college, refereeing USAV in high school. And now she's like, I really want to work with these girls. And, I just told her, what this program is about and what it stands for. I have faith in you, work the girls hard, hold them accountable, but also love them and, form those relationships because, it's true. You gotta have that trust and respect to have those great relationships. So, and if you get any teenage attitude, you know what to do.
Yeah,
She's like,
you know
nope,
what to do. I like that.
they're,
I like that. I absolutely like that. Here with
she's,
Merritt.
what do I,
What's that?
what do I call you? What do I call you? And what do they call me? Because I can't be Coach Patrick. I said, you can be Coach Jordan. And she's like, okay. And so are you mom? And I'm like, no, we're back to coach again. Like, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
That was just, I can remember, and we didn't, looking back, Coach, we never really jumped into that whole, and we're not now, but I'm just saying we didn't make it an issue then because you guys didn't make it wasn't an issue for you guys as good as you were, when she was, your setter. And so, I mean, I know as a mom, you've got to be so proud that, and obviously convinced from a coaching standpoint that this is what she wants to do. I remember 2 years ago broadcasting a game with her, a match with her, and asking that very question. And I don't think she could have said no quicker than she did. So it's awesome that she's doing this. And I tell you what, I don't know the last time we ever covered a freshman team, but I might have to get down there and broadcast at least one of Jordan's freshman games, Coach.
Let's mic her up, see how she does.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I do want to thank MARTINEZ Construction, by the way, for all of you out there. They have re-upped again for another season with Brevard Sports Network. They are also the proud sponsors of tonight's interview with Coach Angie Patrick. So it's great to have the whole gang back from MARTINEZ Construction again. And last year, we broadcast a record number of volleyball matches to you. And even without Jackson this year, we hope to do even more this season. All right, Coach, let's talk about real quick because we still have the preview aspect of all of this coming in. There's some other things I want to talk to you about, but kind of who takes over the regime on the floor for you, or at least moving forward, going into the summer workouts who are some of the players that we're going to need to keep an eye on heading into fall camp?
Yeah, so we've got our seniors and Kylie Thompson, Sarah Niazi, and Annabelle Jones. And I do want to say thank you to MARTINEZ Construction as well. That's huge for them to be able to do that for us. I appreciate it. Yeah, but those seniors, they've been around. Kylie's chomping at the bit because she knows, this. She's a pretty cool story. Freshman year, never played volleyball before, and rarely do you get a varsity player that played freshman team and developed that quickly. So she wasn't out a whole lot last year, kind of in the shadows of some of our bigger players. But I've seen some of her club games, and she's on a mission, and she's going to come out and do some great stuff for us this year. Sarah, great defender, great leader. Annabelle, same thing. Setting and libero, you want to have those leaders out there. So I'm excited for them to embrace those roles. It's always crazy to think that they're going to be seniors. We've got returners and Amber and Reese and going to be juniors. It's going to be interesting because we're going to have several setting options. Brevard County isn't known for really having a lot of setters. You ask any coach. Blessed to have several of them. And it's interesting because Amber's one of our great defenders, and Reese was our efficiency as a setter last year. But Reese has done libero in club for 8 months, and Amber's done setting for 8 months at a very, very high level. So those roles may reverse. We'll see. They may change. We've got some new kids coming in, super excited about. We've got Emma, who's a freshman last year, who I think has grown a lot on the court. And she's, not just a hitter. She's worked real hard on her ball control. So we're really excited about that for her. And I think we're gonna do. People might say we lost quite a bit in the senior class, but I think we've got a lot coming back.
Coach, you mentioned Emma Michelle growing. She's 5'10". Do you mean in the game? I mean, is she getting taller?
I don't know that she's gotten taller. She's playing bigger. Hopefully, they've helped us get that arm up for arm swing, so she's playing higher on the net.
Right.
She's grown in the game, I think IQ wise. She's passing, playing 6 rotations outside, which she didn't get to do for us. We just threw her in the middle and say block balls, and every once in a while get a swing. So she's definitely growing in the game. I think how can you not, competing for 8 months?
Yeah.
So we're what they all come back with.
Coach, you just mentioned how and I love what you said, and I just want to double check with you here. The schedule that you have on Max Preps, that's your schedule right now heading into the season?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so I'm showing that to everybody on the screen right now. There is Merritt Island's schedule this year. So, Coach, you mentioned growing, IQ wise for your players and on the court and what you graduated last year. What do you change your focus during the summer in terms of your workouts based on whom you have coming back? Like if you have 7 seniors, do your workouts become something else, or kind of how do you approach your summer workouts, and what do you do during these workouts?
Yeah, like I said before, Carly Brooks is heading up our conditioning and strength training. Of course, I'm with her as well, and we talk about what direction we want to go with the girls. It's kind of hard because, you talk about what's changed over the years. We used to go hardcore summer, 4 days a week, 2-a-days, all that kind of stuff. But the girls, a lot of them are at AAU nationals right now and USAV nationals. So they're still going strong with club. And I don't want to tire them out. So Carly is really good at modifying workouts if she needs to, if kids are competing in that competing stage, or maybe they're not and they're off, so we can train them harder. But we've been a couple days in the weight room and the open gym, so on and so forth. So, and it's a continuation of what we've been doing the last couple of years with Carly. So it's not anything new. I don't have them out there running stadiums and sprinting and passing out, all that kind of stuff, because they're still playing. Now the freshmen come in and the kids that aren't playing, it looks a little different. But we're going to probably start hitting it hard again. We're going to be off for a couple weeks through the nationals and come back mid-July. I want the girls to have a break too before tryouts because it's just a lot.
It is.
So, yeah.
Coach, and that is a perfect segue. You mentioned 8 months earlier, when we were talking about Emma and playing, and that's all of these girls that are that dedicated their lives to the sport of volleyball. When you began playing volleyball, did you ever imagine a day and time where volleyball would be a 365, 365 day a year sport between beach and indoor and what's required in club? Kind of talk about the growth of this sport, particularly here in Brevard County, and what is required to be one of these outstanding volleyball players in Brevard County. Because seemingly every year, Coach, we say, well, that player can't be better than this player from the year before, but they just keep getting better and better.
Yeah. I think like any sport, soccer, baseball, they become pretty much year round. I love the multi-sport athlete. It's unfortunate that it's really hard to do that now. But yeah, the more you're playing, the more you're getting better. And if you're playing at a high level and getting the training that you need to get trained at, and I think that's helped the sport grow for sure. Um, beach volleyball obviously was added, and that's kind of tough with club season to manage that because that's basically being a dual sport athlete. And you're going to see that just take off. It already has taken off. But the indoor game, it's really cool to see like the younger ages now starting. It used to be they weren't so young. I didn't play till seventh grade. Now these kids are seeing at 8, 9 years old. And instead of, doing the sports, they're doing the t-ball, the soccer and all that. But now they do have an opportunity to do some sessions of volleyball and be exposed to it in camps or clinics or club or whatever that may be. And it's just amazing. Like when you go to nationals, the AUs and USAV, how many courts, I mean, hundreds of thousands of people, families, like it's awesome. It definitely made it a more competitive field for the kids.
There you see on the bottom of your screen some of the important statistics regarding the Merritt Island volleyball program. Coach, what a shock it was to me when I sat down in April to take a look at beach volleyball and realized there were enough teams to do a Cape Coast Conference tournament. And looking at all the beach volleyball teams around the area, how impressed are you at the fast growth of this sport? Obviously, you still need 2 more courts, I would imagine. We need courts in this county. But the teams, they just keep coming, Coach.
Yeah. Oh, we are super blessed to have 3 courts on our campus. I want the other schools to get 3 courts before we have 5, honestly, because it's got to grow. It is growing, but our campuses, these schools need places to practice and play. And it's expensive. So really needs to be, we're trying to wrap our head around it and get a push and figure out how we can do this. With these other schools, but it has grown and it is so awesome that there's a conference. Darren Bolton has spearheaded this for years now. And he and I have had definitely some goals, some visions, and it's just so neat to see it come to fruition. And the fact that we had a conference tournament was awesome.
And I'm going to speak to Coach Bolton here, I would imagine, in the coming weeks, but I can imagine he was just beaming from ear to ear about just, I would imagine, and I'll ask him this, but I can just see Darren, Coach Bolton, standing there with his arms crossed, just looking at everything going, yep, this is exactly what I was trying to do 13 years ago. So good for him, good for you, because I know, listen, Coach Bolton may have spearheaded this, but he had a lot of support from his colleagues like you and plenty of other coaches around the county. So congratulations to all of you on the growth of beach volleyball in this county, because it really shocked me to see the number of teams and to see the number of teams that also reached the state tournament was kind of cool
Yeah.
as well. So good job. As we get set to wrap up with you, Coach. All right, so we know everything about you in terms. Well, we don't know everything about you in terms of coaching because I was talking to a football coach and I said, look, I've got to go. And, I said, he goes, why? He goes, I said, I have an interview with one of the best, or not the best coach in the county. And I swear to God, he said, Angie Patrick. And I said, yes, I do. And so let me ask you this, Coach. As you look back right now, and I know you want to focus on looking ahead, and I'm just curious if anything about what you've done to this point, and I'm not talking about the wins. I'm just maybe there is a particular win, or maybe it is Jordan becoming the freshman coach, or watching her situation come full circle. But is there anything that sticks out to you that you're most extremely proud of to this point in your career?
I think personally, the fact that I've been able to do it this long, I'm pretty proud of that because it's hard. Um, coaching's not an easy gig, but I still love it. So I'm happy about that. I am so happy, and it sounds kind of maybe cheesy or whatever, but I don't care. I'm happy to see my girls thrive after college, in college, after college. I just had a situation in the family, and we needed a really good nurse, and in comes Sarah Steele, and she just took
Right.
such great us. And I love seeing that, and still keeping in touch with them. And like I said before, the wins and the championships are great, but I just think over the years, the fact that I'm still in love with this, and you know, I just, that's the only thing I can think of, really. Of course, the girls and my daughter going through it. I mean, it's going to be, Shane graduated this year, so it's going to be the first time on campus I haven't had a kid, which kind of makes me tear up too, because, I was pregnant with Jordan my first year. So,
Right.
sit and look at that, and now her coaching, yes, is just amazing. But just the full circle that happens with all the girls, and as they grow and as they move on, and to know that I had a small part in their lives, is really, is just awesome.
That's an outstanding answer. And so, how does Angie Patrick relax? How do you relax? How do you and the family get away? How do you get away from volleyball, if it's possible, or baseball? Because she mentioned Shane, and for those of you that don't know, Shane Patrick, one of the best pitchers in this county, hands down, is her son. And so, how do you and your family, how do you all get away from sports and kick back and relax?
Well, that's going to happen in a couple weeks. We're going to go to the Keys, and being on the water is what we love. And so that kind of time, is definitely going to be, that whole week is going to be just savored and really appreciated, because, Jordan's got 3 weeks straight of reffing volleyball, and my husband's working nonstop. I feel like I've been working all summer too, except for the 2 days I went scuba diving. So diving's kind of my thing. I'm the only one in the family that does it, but I'm a marine biology teacher, and I got to play with turtles last weekend with my friend Pam Dodd. So
That's
that
cool.
is, yeah, that's my passion. I love that. That's my one thing I get to do. Warmer weather. I'm not a cold weather person, so summertime's the time to do it. But yeah, I mean,
There you
just,
go. Well, Coach,
yeah.
I know how busy you are, so we certainly appreciate you taking time to come on here today and kind of share with us all of this great information. Please congratulate Jordan for us, and we look forward to another year of outstanding Merritt Island volleyball, which all kicks off August 18th at Titusville, and then we'll pick you up at Satellite on the 21st. Congratulations on all your success, and good luck this season, Coach.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That is head coach Angie Patrick of the Merritt Island Mustangs, and we thank you for tuning in here tonight. You'll catch these interviews sporadically. We're done with the football coaches until football season. We've got some other coaches that'll be coming on from some other sports here in the coming weeks prior to fall camps opening. So again, I want to thank Martinez Construction, and for all of you out there, I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski for head coach Angie Patrick. You've been watching Brevard Sports Network. Have a great night, everybody.